good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. If you are wondering whether the PIVO Silver is the right thing for you to purchase in 2024, this is probably a very good objective video for you to watch because if you're like me and you're an equestrian and you want to film your riding, whether that's for YouTube videos or just because you want to watch them back, you will be like me and will be doing a lot of research right now. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit as to why I bought this. I did get the silver pack, which follows horses, and I got the equestrian starter bundle, which comes with a tripod. Now, the reason I purchased this is because my darling partner got me the DJI mics, which I just showed you there, for my 25th birthday. Because I had a little bit of extra money left over from doing extra shifts at work and some for my birthday, I decided to treat myself and get a little electronic cameraman for the ground to follow me around. Now, this is the first day after having both items that I decided to give them a go. I'd kept the mics in their pack until the PIVO came because I wanted to try them both at the same time. I was a bit too excited. But it is a steep learning curve, as you can see from this blue image here. I felt that this was the best day to give the PIVO a proper try because this was the first day Suzie was ever sat on. And I wasn't riding her. Katie is, as you can see, Katie's the owner. Up until this point, I've been on Suzie and Katie has been leading from the ground as she's the most experienced person. You have the most experienced person on the ground when you're backing green horses. But Suzie was moving up and it was the first time for a solo ride when there was no one there. Obviously, Katie still wants me to be there just in case anything happens, touch wood it won't. But having someone within the arena just as a safety blanket obviously helps. So I was able to actually just be in the arena and mess about with my new PIVO and try and get to grips with it before I'm actually concentrating on riding as well as the PIVO, because that can become a nightmare. It's a bit of a learning curve, as I said. I am finding it really difficult. I'm not going to lie. I've had it for 2 months now and I'm still finding it really, really difficult. There's no instructions that come with the PIVO, and I'm also finding it quite hard to find resources online. As you can see, I keep running into this blue, frozen, overexposed photo. This happens when a pop-up notification that doesn't go away unless you click like go away or accept or whatever. It doesn't go away and then that stops your recording. So if you get a phone call or your camera tells you that you're low on battery, which happens a lot for me, you get that picture. There is nothing I can do about it. There's nothing that I've figured out works, and it's really, really frustrating. I use the iPhone 11 for all of my YouTube recording. And I know that's quite an old model because we're on 15 and I think 16 is announced to be released very soon. So it is an old model, I know that. However, my phone holds charge all day. I've never had an issue with its battery life and it has always been amazing. It's done everything I need. However, when I come from work to the yard, I normally have about half battery life, I would say. Hooking that up to the PIVO, it gives me about 10 minutes of recording time. It absolutely zaps the life out of my phone. And I contacted customer service regarding this, and their response was, I just need to buy the PIVO phone recording attachment. PIVO charging attachment, which I'll add a picture of. It's like £75 on top of what I've already paid for the equestrian package. It is so expensive. And also, if I'm wanting to do this with the DJI mic, I've only got one lightning port. I can't charge and take video footage. After recording the session with Suzie, I felt like I'd had a good enough go that I could then try and record my own riding footage. Now this is me on the lovely Charlie. As you can see, we are currently static and not following the horse like we should be. I have a little bit of an issue. Charlie is terrified of the tripod and wouldn't get close for me to have a proper pick it up and have a go. I had to stay on the floor and me touch the buttons, which was a bit frustrating. But that's obviously completely fine. I got off and had another go. But basically what I tried at this point was to have it on aeroplane mode but with Bluetooth, because aeroplane mode would stop me getting any calls or text messages that would stop the footage recording. Obviously I can't stop the battery notification. I could stop things like telephone calls. But the Bluetooth then didn't work. And I don't know if that's something I can work out or it's just silly and I just have to put it on Do Not Disturb while I put it with Bluetooth. I'm still working it out. It's still frustrating. It's how it is. I'll hopefully get there, but I'm not sure. The biggest issue I have with this is it feels like I need someone to be on the ground to press the buttons to make sure it's working for me. But the PIVO is meant to eliminate that. I don't want to be in two places at once. I can't be camera recorder and riding the horse at the same time for the channel, for my enjoyment, for a lesson. So asking Katie to faff around with the PIVO while she's meant to be giving me a lesson, I don't want that. It's taking out of my time, it's taking out of her time. It's not beneficial for everyone, and this session got quite frustrating. I'm essentially just filming the dog shed at the moment, which I could have done anyway with my previous tripod. Having this situation hasn't changed from just my cheap £10 tripod. Instead, it's now just sat on a £200 tripod looking in the same direction, which ultimately just became frustrating and I gave up. On the next attempt, I do feel like I kind of figured it out a little bit more. I think one of the biggest problems that I was having is that the pop-up notification that kept coming up was that it was disconnecting. Now that was making me really frustrated because I couldn't understand why the phone was disconnecting from the PIVO. But I realised actually it was the phone disconnecting from the remote control that I had left in my car. Once I'd worked that out, and that was the pop-up that was ruining the session with Suzie, I thought actually if I just take it with me on the session with Charlie, I'll have a better chance of eliminating pop-ups. So I have a full camera battery, I've got the remote control in my pocket, Katie is on the ground to give me a lesson, I've desensitized Charlie to the tripod stick in case he still doesn't like it and I need to faff around it. And I think ultimately we can have a good go at it. As you can see at the minute, it's shaking a lot and I think that's from the wind. Now there is an attachment that you can get which holds water bottles to weigh it down more. I didn't get that, and I do have the attachment as high as the tripod can go to just try and get the entirety of the school. But the footage is a lot better. You can see as I'm getting on, it's starting to follow us. As we're moving away, it's following. It's a bit jerky, but at least we're away at this. You can see with this sped up clip of us walking, it is getting us. Obviously it looks funny because I've sped it up probably a bit too much, but it is following us, it is doing what it's meant to be doing, and I'm actually really pleased with how it's working here. Now onto the trotting. I could do with moving Charlie on a little bit, but we're not here to criticise my riding. You can see that it is even more jerky. The further away we get, the bigger the jerks are. Now you can probably eliminate that post-recording. I could edit it within Premiere Pro, that's fine. Obviously I don't really want to add that work to my already busy schedule, but I don't hate it, like it's doing quite a good job. You'll notice in here, however, I have got the auto zoom off. I don't want the auto zoom on the footage. basically because I can zoom here now while I'm editing, and I would much rather do that than have the AI system do it for me. One thing that I have found is that the PIVO seem to have quite a good range. I've not pushed it, but as you can see here, I would say that I've put the PIVO in probably like the first quarter of the school. And I'm right at the back of the school here. There's really poor contrast. The PIVO is still getting Charlie, and realistically, I think he blends a lot into the background, but it's still getting him, and I really appreciate that. But the biggest thing that I don't like is the jerks. It is, you can just, it's quite jarring, the jerks, unfortunately. So the further away you get, the less smooth it is, but I think it's doing an alright job. Unfortunately though, as I come round to sort of test how close we get this notification. I can't actually remember what happened here. I think I got a telephone call, but yeah, I couldn't test how close you can get because the notification came up and stopped the recording anyway. Ultimately, I have to say I'm really not that impressed with the PIVO at the moment. There's definitely user error, but there are things with the PIVO that I really wish there were. For starters, I wish there was an instruction booklet. There's a manual on how to get started, but really there's nothing to do with troubleshooting. I tried to download the app, but it became too troublesome, and I just wish that there was more support and more information on the troubleshooting and all of the features. I shouldn't have to go to YouTube videos to try and find what I'm looking for when I don't actually know the questions. How am I going to find the answer? Another thing that I don't really like is the jerking. I'm not really sure if that's something that I can change or if that's just how the PIVO is, but at the minute it's not that great and I'll have to work with that. But on the flip side, I do think there is a lot to be said about the PIVO. It's given me an opportunity to capture footage that I perhaps wouldn't be capturing otherwise. It may not be as great or how I want it, but it's footage that I wouldn't have. It's following me, it's doing its job, and yeah, it is a cameraman on the ground. It's the useful training tool that I need to know from this lesson what on earth is going on with my positioning. And I do think it's going to be very beneficial. Even if it's not going to get all the footage that I want for YouTube, it's definitely going to help my riding, and if that's what you're looking for, this probably actually is going to work for you. I'm looking at it more of a perspective of, is it a cameraman? No, probably not, but it's getting what I need, and I can look at what on earth is going on right now. I definitely think most of this is probably user error. I've only had it 2 months, but really with how technology is nowadays, I would think 2 months would be long enough for me to sort of work out enough. With my mics, I've worked that out. I watched one YouTube video when I was away. With the PIVO, I've struggled a lot more. But give it a few months, maybe I'll have a different mindset. I'm definitely not going to just give up on it. Obviously, I've spent a lot of money on this. I need to persist with it because I can't return it. But at the same time, in 6 months, am I going to have the same view? I'm not really sure. I'm hoping it'll get better. I'm hoping I'll get better at this. But yeah, whether I recommend you buying this or not, I really can't say. I looked at a lot of videos and they were all raving. However, I haven't had that experience, and this is why I wanted to make this, because maybe you won't have the same experience. I think a lot of people on social media, it could be hard sometimes to know whether or not they've been paid to make something. I haven't. I bought this with my own money. I can show you the receipt if I need to. So I feel like I can give the most honest opinion on my experience. And so far, it's just not been good. I think I'll get there. I will persist. Like I said, I've spent a lot of money on this. I kind of need it to work, really. But we will see. Let me know how your experience with this has gone, whether you feel the same, whether, I don't know, whether you're going to buy it or not. I'd like to know. I want to be kept up to date with all things that are going on. And please don't comment on my riding because I know it's atrocious in this. This is my first lesson since Jemima, and it's horrifying. I've gone backwards. I'm fully aware. I will be getting more lessons, don't worry, guys. But thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking out with my ramblings. I don't think I am a voiceover kind of person because I forget the point that I'm trying to make constantly. But I hope it wasn't too awful to watch. I hope you've learned something, and I hope that it's helped you make a decision potentially. But yeah, thank you for watching. I love you all so much, and I will see you next week.